Hey gang, back here in the studio for another Raptor Rap session. It is Wednesday, May 29th. Those of you who are avid followers know that the Raptors have started the season on a rough note. One up, six down. We're working on it. We're going to be making changes. It's not going to stay this way forever. So bear with us and be patient with us, and we'll right the ship and get back at it. But what we're really here for is to talk about a promotion for tomorrow, which will be Thursday, May 30th. Is it our second or third year?
It's our third year.
Our third year with the Live On campaign. It's a program through Weber Human Services that is focused on suicide prevention. And with us in studio is the assistant director of Weber Human Services, Susanna Burt. Hi, Susanna.
Hi, thanks so much for having me, Dave.
Yeah, welcome back.
Thanks.
We're going to have some fun.
Yes, even with a heavy topic, we're going to have some fun.
It is a heavy topic. I remember last year in this, I think was it last year or the year before?
Yeah.
It was an emotional segment in the studio, and we were supposed to have a player come and join us this morning to talk about his experiences, but turned out last minute he was unavailable. So we're going to do the best we can to give you a great product and talk about something that is very dear to my heart. And I grieve thinking about those families who have lost loved ones to suicide, and we're going to pay a little focus on it in tomorrow night's game. But if you can, Susanna, talk about the program and what it's done through Weber Human Services and how people can get involved.
Absolutely. So one of the things is that it's the Live On Utah campaign, and it's been a state-run campaign for the last few years. One of their focus has been to create a playbook to help people navigate conversations that are hard. Because when we talk about suicide, it's really, really complicated. And there used to be this, don't talk about it, because if you talk about it, people are going to, take action. And in reality is when we start normalizing the conversation, we really do change and make it okay to say, hey, I'm not feeling great. Or, gosh, my game really sucked this week.
Yeah.
And I'm feeling pretty crappy about it. And it's okay to have those emotions. So the campaign is really trying to normalize the conversations that you can have with peers, and then giving people the ability to know where to go when they have those questions.
Interesting thing, and a perfect example just happened a couple days ago on the PGA Tour. There was a golfer who had been a winning player on the PGA, loved by many, was playing in the second round, trying to battle to make the cut, and he left. He quit after 15 holes and said he wasn't feeling good, and he went home, and he took his life. So it's just tragic because, is it hard to pick up signs of somebody having a mental health crisis like that?
Sometimes when you have people that you say, hey, how are you doing? And what do we usually say? I'm good. I'm fine.
Yeah.
Don't say anything. And that's, again, why we want to change the conversation. There are signs that we look for when we start changing major behaviors. So if we start isolating, or you're seeing a peer or a friend or a player isolate so much that they no longer want to be around people, their game changes.
So is isolation the number one cue?
It's not necessarily the number one cue, but it's something that you really can pick up on when somebody's saying, I don't want to be around, because it's easier to kind of withdraw and to be alone. Another thing that they look at is when you start changing the behavior of giving things away, you're looking at things like sometimes you see them be really, really happy right before because they've made a decision. And again, that's where you can't always pick up the cues, which is why, again, I'm going to stress this over and over, having a conversation and asking. And I have a very personal experience with my family. And it wasn't until I straightforward asked my child, who was a young adult, have you ever wanted to die by suicide? And they looked at me and just started bawling and said, yes. And then I feel like, because this is my field, and I'm like, what have I done wrong? What have I missed? And it's all of us, asking the questions. And I shouldn't have waited as long to ask the question.
I feel, and I have zero experience in, trying to figure out how to help those who are struggling. But I think, and again, maybe I'm a novice, but I would think letting people know, whether it's your son or relatives or even people you don't know. I mean, I think the true number one thing is letting people know that they're not alone. Is that correct?
Yeah, it is letting people know they're not alone and letting them know that it's okay to feel and have these emotions. We've lived in a world where we look at social media, ironically that we're on social media.
Yeah.
That we craft these images and it's supposed to be perfect and it's supposed to be this one thing, and in sports or in family, if we aren't living that perfect image of a family or a child or a daughter or a son or a father or just a neighbor, or you've put all of your energy into being this business person, and things suddenly aren't giving you the fulfillment you want, you question things.
Well, and our imaginations get the best of us, both positively and negatively. I know I have a sign in my office at home that says nothing is as big as you think it is, not even our problems. And it's so true.
Yeah.
We have a tendency to blow everything out of proportion, don't we?
Well, and that's where a lot of the things with suicide prevention specifically, if we can delay the access to certain means. So this isn't taking anyone's guns away, but it's about if you have even 17 seconds to delay the access to a firearm or getting into that pill bottle or any other ways, those are the things that slow us down to allow us to say, oh, is this the right solution for where I'm at right now? And just having that and having a conversation, I will tell you again, like we removed all the guns from our house.
Yeah.
With that, when that child was going, we removed actually all the knives from we have nice knives, not just kitchen knives, but like the
hunting.
Japanese hunting, like little things like that. We moved them, we put them into a safe so they weren't available. And we have active conversations. And I think as we look at, this year's focus, by the way, is on people over the age of 55. So older adults. And we're seeing in the state of Utah, they're a large portion, I think it was at 10% of all deaths by suicide are people over the age of 55. And when you start looking at that.
Why?
Because that's what I said, they're isolating and people are alone, which is why, again, when we looked at the research, getting out to the games, getting out to events.
Yeah.
We look at ways for people to get involved in the community, and it's so hard as we change and our mobility is different and our expectations.
Have we had any trouble since with COVID? Because people were just locked in.
Yeah, people were just locked in. People are still isolated because of not just mental health, but like physical health issues.
Yeah.
But there are changes in their programs like Meals on Wheels come in and check on people. We have senior companions. We have foster grandparents. The opportunities for people to connect with another adult or another person. And that's why when Kimberly Crookston, our program manager over mental health promotion, she was looking at things, and that's why the Raptors game was really, really a valuable opportunity, because it was something that gets people out. And it's we see people that have bonded to our community, and that's a protective factor. That's something that helps them stay healthy.
Yeah.
So when we look at the risk factors of isolation and they're not getting out, this is just one more thing to say, hey, we have a way to get you there.
It's therapeutic.
Yeah, it really does decrease that risk. And we have people that live obviously across the nation, but I'm checking in with my stepdad. I'm like, hey, how you doing? Yeah. Like, he goes on walks every day. He has every Monday he meets with so-and-so, and every Tuesday he does this. He has his book club in the city, and his friend that was a former congressman. And then he tells us every time, it's former congressman, and we're like, thank you.
I think the point is, folks, that conversation and just engaging people is the most important thing you can do on a daily basis.
Absolutely. And checking in, asking. And that's where I think it's really important.
Well, before we talk about tomorrow night's game, look into that camera and tell the viewer how they can get involved, number one.
Absolutely.
And website and phone numbers of where they can call if they think they need some help, not only for themselves perhaps, but somebody they might know.
Right. So first and foremost, there is the emergency number that is 988, and that's something that you can call at any time for crisis, for suicide help. If it's in a critical moment where there has been an action, do not hesitate to call 911, but 988 is also someone that connects you with a crisis line. There's also liveonutah.org, which connects you to some of the playbook that we talked about earlier. And then there's opportunities here in Weber and Morgan counties through Weber Human Services. They have a ton of aging services from senior centers and Meals on Wheels and the foster grandparents. And lastly, my big plug is get involved with the coalition locally. There are people there that can help you connect with the schools or with other partners, such as the Raptors, that will get you out and get people connected to doing better and healthier things in your environment.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, it's wonderful. And so again, thanks to Kimberly and Susanna with the partnership with the Raptors. The Raptors, we've kind of adopted the Live On campaign as our, I don't want to say charitable, but our one thing we hang our hat on as far as participating with the community, because it's so important. And tomorrow's game, which will be May 30th, Thursday, it's Live On Night at the Ballpark. And we want everybody to come out. And again, it doesn't matter if you're struggling mentally or you feel alone. Come on out and just meet somebody. Yeah. Even if you're by yourself, come up to the press box and say hi. I'll be glad to, give you a handshake and a hug. And, the ballpark is where people are supposed to go to forget their troubles. Whether it's a mortgage payment or whether or not you're threatening something drastic like suicide, just come outside. It's going to be a beautiful night.
It is.
Tickets are available. I know Weber Human Services had tickets for the event. Are there? We
have a few more that we're giving out, but yeah, we do.
They're free. If you contact Weber Human Services and see if there's any left, just get to the ballpark. Heck, I'll tell you what. If Weber Human Services, if you call them and they don't have any left, just come to the Raptors and tell them Dave said you could have a ticket, and I'll let you in. I don't want your money. I want your life.
We want you here.
I want you here. And the players are going to be behind it. I mean, look, we wore these jerseys a couple years ago.
Sorry, you got me with that. We want you there.
Oh. Anyway, yeah, I mean, I was the one balling a couple years ago.
I know. I was doing great. I was doing great.
What else do they need to know?
No, we have some things we're going to be giving out. There's going to be some prizes that we have the pins that we're going to be sharing. But we also have great things that we're giving out. Paddleboard. We're going to give out some great backpacks from Osprey. We have Chick-fil-A and shirts. So I think we're trying to make it so that this is an event. This is something that's fun to go do with your neighbor, your friends. Come alone. We are good. Come be a part of it.
Of course, there's going to be messages all night long given throughout the ballpark about where people can go for help in suicide prevention, and there's signage all around the ballpark for that as well. Yeah. In fact, you can't walk anywhere really in that ballpark anymore, right, Kimberly, without seeing something to do with suicide prevention and mental health awareness. And we can't be more supportive of it.
It's been great having partners that get the message and understand that it is about getting out to the community, and it isn't just older adults; it's everybody. But it's been great.
And again, as I said in the outset of this segment, we're trying to right the ship into turning the team into a winning formula. But in cases like this, it's tomorrow night's game, as far as winning, is the least important thing of the evening.
It's being there.
And it's just, that's a great thing, Raptors baseball, being there.
It is. It is iconic, and it's been wonderful to be a part of this community.
Yeah. But again, the message says everything, folks. Yeah. Live on. And there's not much else you can add to that.
No,
just live on. Again, it's not as bad as you think it is. Even the biggest problem you have, there are people to help. One more time, phone number?
988. Call that number for crisis help. It's you'll get a hold of someone. It's 24 hours. It's available. And
Tell him
connect
Bags
you.
and Susanna sent you. Anyway, that's going to do it for this segment. We'll see you tomorrow night at the Ballpark, May 30th. Game time's at 6:30. Gates open at 5:30. We hope to see you there. Let's have some fun.
Yeah.
And most of all, let's live on. On behalf of myself and Susanna Burt, the Assistant Director at the Weber Human Services, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you soon. Ciao, baby.